This is absolutely absurd. As we broke down yesterday, there have been some trade talks leaked between the Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors involving Cam Johnson, a lottery pick, and some different chatter, some different buzz coming from the Nets camp. But now a trade proposal's been going around Toronto Raptors land lately, which frankly is absolutely sickening. It is gross, and if the Toronto Raptors follow through on this deal, unless Masai Ujiri has a couple of all-stars in his eyesight, at the back end of the first round of this NBA draft, it would be genuinely devastating for this Toronto Raptors team. So we'll recap all the latest buzz regarding a Brooklyn Nets-Toronto Raptors trade, but more importantly, this trade proposal that's going around Raptors land, which is absolutely stupid. So lots of stuff to break down in this video, folks. I can't thank you guys enough for all the support we've been getting in the videos as of late. Again, if you're part of the 48% of our viewers that haven't hit the subscribe button just yet, make sure you guys hit that sub button so you don't miss a single thing going on with this Toronto Raptors team. But let's jump into it because I know everyone wants to see this trade request, but I'm sure there's a lot of people going like, Brooklyn Nets, Raptors trade, what's going on here? Well, some details leaked yesterday, essentially from Nets Daily, hearing that the Nets may want to move up from 19 in the lottery, from number 19 to the lottery, offering Cam Johnson and the 19th pick to the Toronto Raptors or the Houston Rockets for either the Raptors' 9th pick or the Rockets' 10th pick, plus a bad contract. That would give the Nets 2 picks in the top 10, supposing neither the team would need picks for the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade. So that's something that came from Nets Daily. It went on to say that the possibilities here would not be limited to this scenario and discussions. Whether internal or actual hard offer, they are unlikely to be formalized until much closer to the draft night when moving parts start to fall into place. So essentially, we got the idea, we got the news that Masai Ujiri has been at least in discussions. There's been some chatter going on between the Raptors and the Brooklyn Nets about a deal that, right now the leaked framework is Cam Johnson and the number 19th pick in return for, Raptors lottery pick as well as a bad contract. Now, we did some speculating yesterday in terms of what that bad contract could be. Could Barrett be considered a bad contract? Which, again, I have sickened that that's the narrative. That's the stuff that's getting thrown out there with Barrett. But now there's a trade proposal that shocking amount of people, in Raptors fandom, aren't hating. But it's going around right now, which just has me fired up. So I wanted to make a whole video on it. So basically, what this trade is the Toronto Raptors receiving Cam Johnson, the number 19th overall pick, and on top of it, the number 27 overall pick. So 2 first-round picks and Cam Johnson, who Cam Johnson is very good at basketball. But in return, the Brooklyn Nets receive Jakob Poeltl, the center that was a top 10 center in the NBA last year. I'm standing on that. I'm sticking on that because he has been very, very good for this Raptors team this most previous season. The number 9th pick, which, again, in a draft where it's supposed to have elite talent all throughout, a top 10 pick could be a star player out there in the future. So the number 9 overall selection and then a 2026 second. So on top of it, we are sending out a second round pick. And I've been sent this on IG. I've been sent this a couple places. And holy smokes, this would be horrific for the Toronto Raptors. And firstly, this is not me saying Cam Johnson is some bad basketball player or anything like that, because Cam Johnson is good. 19 points per game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 39% from the three-point line, and 45% out there on corner threes in the prime of his career. He complements Scottie, he'd complement Ingram, he complement a lot of guys on this Raptors team very, very well. So don't get me wrong there. But as we broke down yesterday, the cap situation does not set things up well for this out here. You see, Cam Johnson is making $21-23 million over the next couple seasons, and the Raptors are loaded with salaries here now. So we'd actually be increasing our current cap situation by dealing out Jakob Poeltl and taking on more money in Cam Johnson. So we are actually losing value out there in terms of it's more expensive to have Cam Johnson on this team. For a team that's teetering around the luxury tax, that is not good for the Toronto Raptors there. Secondly, why this is just a horrible move, and, we've been talking about it a ton. This entire franchise, this entire country has been on Giannis watch over the past 3-4 days, and frankly, this, dealing away these draft picks, sure, we get a couple of extra firsts at the late end of the first round, but Masai Ujiri's quest to land Giannis Antetokounmpo, to get out there on that mission, to make that push, to fulfill the prophecy, dealing this away, we are dealing him another first to a team that is also in the mix, in the hunt, in the hopes of landing Giannis Antetokounmpo. And on top of it, the Milwaukee Bucks are in need of a center. They need a center more than they need a wing player. So Jakob Poeltl, if we're going to trade him the offseason, which I'm about to dive into, would be stupid. If we're going to trade Jakob Poeltl and we're, the assets are for Giannis, Jakob Poeltl going back to the Milwaukee Bucks would actually be super valuable for that team because they don't have their draft picks. They don't have a center with Brook Lopez aging and likely leaving in free agency, and just, no one really out there in the back line that's going to be able to build this team forward for the Milwaukee Bucks' future. So Poeltl will actually be more valuable for that team. But the real reason why I am just thinking this is absurd, this is stupid, this is ridiculous is, frankly, the fact Jakob Poeltl should be a Toronto Raptor. Unless we get like a Jokic or like a crazy name out there, Jakob Poeltl should be a Toronto Raptor next season. This past year, averaged 15 points per game, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.2 blocks, 1.2 steals, and I'm sticking to this. People have been roasting me. I should make a graphic for the amount of bring up. I am making a prophecy. I'm speaking to existence. I think Jakob Poeltl is going to be able to shoot threes next season. I just think it's going to be able to happen. He shot a 3 early in the shot clock with like 5 games left in the season this year, and it looked confident, man. They were talking about it at the end of season presser, how he's working on it. Darko talked about it. Jakob Poeltl, I think, is going to shock everyone this upcoming season and be able to knock down threes. But that's not a solid basis. Again, that's some light grounds to stand on for that prediction, that expectation. But I don't know. I think selling Jakob Poeltl right now would be stupid for this team, especially in a package like this where the Raptors then get to a point where we don't have a center. I mean, unless you're drafting a superstar center out there in the late first round, which is unlikely, unless you view Ulrich Shamshe, who is on a 2-way contract and dealt with injuries in the back half of last year, unless he's the savior right away for this Raptors team, we would be depleted at the center position, dealing away Jakob Poeltl, and then we are a team that's trying to be competitive next year. We are trying to be good next season, and dealing away Yak, our veteran center that plays defense, that does everything you want out there on the court, except for, knock down consistent, space to the floor. Free throws are a bit of an issue, but he's been improving in those areas, improving those avenues for, a deal that really just... a deal that if we're looking at it, if we're being honest, you get a more expensive player that's less of a positional fit, and you get a downgrade in your draft pick selections. That's what you are doing in this trade. Yes, you get multiple firsts, whatever, but you're losing a second next season from the Lakers, which, it's probably going to be mid, but I don't know. I think that is genuinely stupid. I think it's absurd. I don't think this is what the Toronto Raptors should really be doing out there at this point. And, the money doesn't really make sense, but if you're dealing with Jakob Poeltl, you at least need a Nick Claxton back in some of these trades, but to make the money work, it just doesn't really make sense unless you're, building this out to a 3-team trade, a 4-team trade, whatever. Those are too hard to put together at this point, but Claxton still has some potential, but potential only gets you so far when you're 26 years old. So that is what it is. Let me know if you guys like this deal, if you guys hate this deal. You guys are the best to make this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.